Alright, before you go, I think we have just enough time on the clock. Before class ends, I want to read for you a part 4 of a poem by the prolific William Blake, who you might know as a great poet and mystic from about 200 years ago. And, well, let's just say that a lot of people have been inspired by him ever since. And this is from his poem, The Marriage of Heaven and Hell. And I feel like this paragraph would be a good way to close out the lesson for today. The voice of the devil. All Bibles or sacred codes have been the causes of the following errors: that man has two real existing principles, a body and a soul; that energy called evil is alone from the body, and that reason called good is alone from the soul; that God will torment man in eternity for following his energies. But the following contraries to these are true. Man has no body distinct from his soul, for that called body is a portion of soul discerned by the five senses, the chief inlets of soul in this age. And energy is the only life, and is from the body, and reason is the bound or outward circumference of energy. Energy is eternal delight. Class dismissed.
This comes to you from the Journal of Minister Matthew Forbes, the adventures of a struggling artist mixed into the world of mysticism and dark arts. Aside from battling my inner demons, I find myself matching wits with demonic and angelic forces. What can I say? You don't choose the mystic arts, it chooses you. So if you see me in the cemetery, just know I'm trying to save a soul, and next time it might be you. Open the gates of your mind, the damned saint has arrived.
So that's what I've been doing for the past month now. I was recruited into the Windsor Academy of Alchemy. I was asked to teach for the last semester of this graduating class. You could say they're not your conventional college students. There are many teachers and many unique studies. I was lecturing on the divine nature of humanity, and my new friend Adelaide was also teaching the art of psychic protection. In fact, Adelaide and I drove up together to the school, a sum of 2 hours, say. I won't lie, I was looking forward to spending some time alone and getting to know her. She was a very strong-willed woman, but I couldn't help but respect her tenacity, and it didn't hurt she had a killer attraction in her style as well. So I was a little disappointed when the day came to head out of town and she asked if I would mind one of her students traveling with us. Her student, by the name of Alice, had short blonde curls surrounding a Welsh, feminine face, and she had a feisty attitude herself. But I had stressed before we left that I wanted a peaceful ride and no trouble. We actually had a good time, surprisingly, and talked about many esoteric ideas in about the last hour of the drive, say, and it gave me a sense of how to approach teaching, surprisingly. I mean, like, who knows, maybe I could help someone after all. Yeah, maybe it's only giving a college student a good grade, it's not saving them from a demonic misfit, but all the same, it will also give me time to spend in their extensive and exclusive library at the Academy. I did some research on the place, and it turns out it was a sort of secret school for almost 200 years, and I guess it helps build the geniuses of the future, the kind of thing. Many that specialize in fields of our modern science and stuff, which, the building blocks of alchemy, right? Or the building blocks of science come from alchemy. But yet, no one has really ever known about it unless you are, one of the few, some elite knowing, I suppose. I never liked college or school in general, but I've always liked talking. And this isn't me teaching math, so I have a chance. This could give me liberties to explore many topics, I thought. So that's how I got into this mess. But who knows, I might, end up learning something too myself. Right now, I was on my way to a chess club meeting. I mean, it's great in some ways. I can get involved in all the same things I did back in school when I was younger, but this time I'm older, I'm wiser, and I can win more. And also, I dealt with a lot of assholes when I was in school growing up, whether it was grade school or high school. You think something as simple as playing a game of chess, something ancient, and the ancient warriors could at least sit down and play a game of chess. People, you can't even get a moment's rest. And I mean, for me, chess is also a mental place I go, like a moving Zen garden, you could say. It's also helped my restlessness at times from being away from home and my usual haunts. There has been many nights in the past month here where Adelaide and I have sat in some nights, up on, up in one of our rooms. Yeah, they actually set us up in teacher dormitories, just like the students. I shouldn't have expected much, not like the Hotel Hilton or something, but it was actually nice being close to her more often, and us really, only knowing each other, we began to rely on each other for company. And a few nights we sat up listening to old jazz records and having a little drink. I don't think we were supposed to, but she had snuck it in a few times. But I was having trouble reading her feelings for me. Plus I didn't want to cloud my teaching and just in general my overall sense of being aware of what the hell's going on, being in such a strange new place. I guess she recently went through a lot in her life. On the drive to the academy, actually, she spent some of it telling me her life story. I'm not one to dwell on trauma, so I try to be supportive, but it was lonely out here, and in between taking sips of our contraband alcohol and looking at her lips, they did look inviting at times when our eyes would meet and we would look away with a smile. What was she thinking? My mind was on something Adelaide had said last night, that her student, the girl Alice, that had driven with us up here to the academy, she had come up here recently and was talking to Adelaide, I guess, and she was very upset. I guess she had been experiencing some kind of night terrors. So I told her to keep in touch with me. Well, that is, I told Adelaide to tell me what Alice says about these sleep interruptions. I tried to care, but it really didn't seem like it was that much of a big deal, I mean, the little bit that I knew about this girl Alice was that she worked in town and she'd become friends with Adelaide sometime recently, I guess, and they had some sort of psychic connection that, like, Adelaide wanted to, figure out more. Maybe you wanted to take her on as like an apprentice or something, I don't know. But in the event, when we both, took on this semester here teaching, they kind of became, close friends, and it's since the car ride, I've been trying to keep her like away from, kind of butting in, because I want to spend some time with Adelaide and see what's up. But so I told her to stay in touch, let me know if something serious happens, something severe. I mean, there's a chance it wasn't anything, but also in a school of sorcerers, there's a chance that someone could start some shit. Some kind of sorcerer shit, you get. So I was lost in thought, and all of this stuff going on in my mind. Again, thinking of Adelaide's lips. When the player, the chess player across from me, that is, I believe his name is Frank. He's a, young lad in his 20s. I believe he's an esoteric symbolism film major here at the academy or some shit like that. But he's, a student, and, me off daydreaming. Frank, the film student, was pestering me to stop daydreaming and make my move. So I stared back down at the chessboard and scanned the wooden pieces. I really didn't care about this game, so I made a blind move. Big mistake. Aha, Frank says. Checkmate, Mr. Matt. That's Mr. Forbes to you, kid. And I'm not done just yet. I'm going to block you here, I said. Here, and I carefully placed my queen in front of the king, but he swiftly ferreted out a way to overtake the queen. The game was over. Good work, Frank. A little more exciting than the stalemate last time. Alright, I've had enough. Make sure one of the other teachers here closes up the classroom, for the night, because I'm going to head out. I began to grab my jacket, and the voice of a stern man about my age, 35-ish, 33 to 35-ish, but a voice from behind me says, "Not so fast. We have had 4 chess club meetings this semester and you have yet to face me. There is still 15 minutes left of playtime. What do you say?" "Sir, you're the only club member I've yet to play. I've beaten everyone else so many times already." "Yeah, well, I'm not really in the mood right now. Yeah, maybe next week, buddy. And I don't think 15 minutes is enough. Isn't that being a little overconfident?" "Well, I could probably finish it in 5 if you really want to be competitive. I'm not trying to battle you. I didn't know you felt this way about me. My name is Max Hercules, and I am the best there is, and one day I will be headmaster of this school, so you better start listening to what I have to say. I haven't come this far to be tested in such a manner." Now, what is it with you? The attitude, it's silly. We'll play next time, relax. You want me, Maximilian Cranston Hercules III, to relax? I've not only been chess champion far from home here before I came to the academy for 5 years running, but I've also been here leading the fencing club for several years now, and I suggest you should join us later this evening for a match, perhaps, if you dare. "Yeah, well, I'm sorry. I only do 1 club a day, at a time. It's kind of a rule of mine, actually." "Oh, that's rubbish. You're afraid of the consequences. You've obviously never fought in the art of fencing as I have. That much is clear. Can you not see when you are being challenged, man? If it's a challenge you want, then it's a challenge you'll get. I might have learned my sword skills from Pirates of the Caribbean and all the Highlander flicks, but that doesn't mean my street skills can't kick your stupid ass." "Yes, that's right. Vulgarity. Bring me your hate. You're no damn saint. I heard about you. Your shabby ministry services might as well be a club than a business. Maybe your friend Adelaide, perhaps she would like to come and watch you lose tonight." I've had enough. Shut up, Mr. Max. What time does your little fencing club start anyways? "Blades touch at 8 p.m. Be there. Be prepared. You'll be begging your little saints for protection before I'm through with you." I gathered the rest of my belongings from the classroom and left in a bit of a hurry. The nerve of that douche canoe. In the wise words of my old drum teacher, you think going to a prestigious school for alchemy, the people would be more chill, but there's assholes no matter where you go. Yeah, so what if you've never ever done fencing before? Or how hard can it be? Fuck it, I'm gonna try anyways. But, I'm gonna try and calm down, sorry. As I was making my way down the hallway, another teacher, a tall woman I had seen only a few times around the campus before. She had apparently been in the classroom with us just now and wanted to get my attention. "Hey, Mr. Forbes, excuse me." I stopped and turned around to face her. She had long dark hair and a slender body. "Look, don't worry about Max," she said. "He has the biggest chip on his shoulder. But he is pretty nasty with the fencing blade. I'd still watch my ass if I was you." "Yeah, thanks. I'll keep that in mind, lady. Miss. I should have probably gone to the gym and began some stretching at least, but instead I went back to the library where I spent most of my downtime, I guess. There was so much knowledge and information I was getting my hands on. I had recently acquired a few books that could help if we encounter any demonic funny business, if you know what I'm saying. You never know, something told me for that meditation the other night to sort of be prepared. Always be prepared. I tried to concentrate on the books, but between the thought of Adelaide's soft lips and the upcoming battle royale with this Max Hercules jamoke, I couldn't concentrate, so I left to get a hot tea and do some meditation in my dorm room. Changing into my workout clothes, I noticed there was about 20 minutes left until 8 p.m. I sat and sunk into a slight meditative state for a moment. I'm not sure what it was, but for a second I felt a strange tremor in the energy, like an omen that something was coming, something was around us. I wonder if it was connected to the problems the student Alice had been encountering. Something was brewing. Walking to the fencing class, I felt bothered by doing all these lectures. Oh, how I miss comedy so much. One day I tried a couple minute mini comedy set to the class to wake everyone up. Everyone's kind of lethargic and being bored. And, many told me to stick to teaching. Yeah, so what the hell is that shit? These ungrateful little brats, right? I guess that's a cheap excuse. When I arrived, this goofball didn't waste much time in getting us suited up and on the blue mats on the floor. The foil was surprisingly light, and I felt a little more confident than expected. Without much warning, we began. He started lunging and slashing at me. I tried to defend the best I could, but I could tell it wasn't leaving me much room to attack. I finally had a slight advantage and moved in on him. We clashed foils and drew them in close together. He tore off his helmet and got close to my face, nose to nose. I could smell the sweat on his stupid, dirty face. "I'm not afraid of you," he says. But he said it like the way he would say it, so he said it like, "I'm not afraid," or how did he talk? He was like, "I'm not afraid of you," or something stupid like that. And the only thing I could, so I just kind of looked him right in the eye and said, "But I am," I replied, and I pushed him off of me, and he tore off his vest, and 2 students came up behind me and ripped off my vest without any warning. He was getting serious now, it seemed. He raised his sword up to his face and smiled, his lips in line with the hilt of the foil. "It is time to teach you a lesson." Damn it, did I lose the voice of that guy? "It is time to teach you a lesson. Now would be a good time to call on your saints." "Well, I'll be damned," I said. "Let's get on with it then." I held up my foil to my face. It seemed like the honorable thing to do. I had never been in a real duel before. I really wasn't in the mood to be a pincushion. And this is not a game of chess. I took a deep breath. We both thrust at each other with wild abandon. How was I going to survive this one? I am the damned saint. Here's another fine mess I've gotten myself into.
Tune in for next week's episode of The Damned Saint. Until then, be true, be you, and be aware. There is no fate but what you create. I am the messenger, the Damned Saint.